Hi, Lee. My name is Tara. My friends call me Tartar. Don't ask why. I want to first tell you, I'm sorry to hear about your diagnosis, and I want you to know that I am praying for you. Your channel has changed my life since I found it. It has given me the courage to share my experience with those around me. 3 weeks ago, I shared what happened to me with my mom, dad, and younger brother. A week ago, I shared it with my husband and the rest of my family. I received a lot of stares, but overall, everyone seemed to be supportive. I almost wonder if they believed me or chalked it up to postpartum depression, that my mind was making things up. I don't know whether that's the case or not, but it feels really good getting it off my chest. I find myself typing this out, wondering just how to explain it to those who haven't crossed over, or, much less, seen the other side. So I'll start at the beginning and go from there. In January 2021, I found out that I was pregnant with our 4th child. From the moment of conception, something felt off with this one. 2 months into the pregnancy, I was diagnosed with placenta previa. For all of you men out there, this is when the placenta grows near the opening of the uterus. It increases the risk of miscarriage and other health issues. Anyway, the placenta previa was the least of our worries, as we had the amniotic fluid tested to determine what issues the baby could have, and we weren't given the best news. We were told that the baby had a high probability of Down syndrome. The thought of having a special needs child at 40 scared me. Some of my first thoughts were, what would happen to him or her when I pass away? Who would take care of this kid? Naturally, the topic of abortion did come up, though my husband and I immediately shot that idea down because of our religion. I was put on bed rest and told that I would need to avoid any sort of laborious tasks. Around the 7-month mark, I felt a gushing sensation and screamed for my mom to call the ambulance. To keep things a bit more PG, what I thought was my water breaking was actually me bleeding out due to a hemorrhage. I was rushed to the hospital and immediately prepped for an emergency C-section. I was wheeled back to the operating room, and then I lost all consciousness. The strange thing about crossing over and experiencing what lies beyond is watching it happen. I found myself trailing my body back to the operating room, where the doctor muttered some choice words and said, "We're losing her. Get her cut open. We have to get this baby out. Then we can worry about life-saving measures for the mom." I watched as they cut me open and took my premature son out. I remember hearing the doctor say that he didn't know if the baby would make it and that they needed to begin life-saving measures on me. As they were stitching up my C-section, one nurse was pumping my chest while another was giving me oxygen. I watched all of this in pure amazement. The last thing that I remember the doctor saying was, "We've got to shock her." It was at this time that I was immediately pulled upward at a speed that I will describe as falling off of a cliff, but upward. Do you remember how fast you seem to fall when you're in a dream? Well, it feels like that speed, but only going up. I started going faster and faster until I came to an abrupt stop. "Welcome, Tara. We've been expecting you," I heard a voice say in my head. Looking around, my eyes began to become less cloudy, and I was able to see where I was. I was in a beautiful crystal-like city, one that no amount of fairy tales can ever compare to. The beauty was indescribable. Every surface seemed to shimmer with an inner light, and the architecture was beyond anything earthly imagination could conceive. I heard the voice again. "Welcome home, Tara. We've been expecting you." I looked around until I saw who was speaking. The man that I saw was not the most handsome, but he wasn't bad-looking either. He had a brown beard, brown eyes, and the most beautiful smile that I have ever seen. His skin was sort of an olive color, sort of like the tan you would see a surfer with. He wore a robe, and around his waist was a golden-colored sash. I couldn't help but be mesmerized by his presence. "You were waiting for me?" I asked. "Yes," replied the man. "But why me?" "Tara, you have completed your mission. It is time for you to come home," the voice gently said. "No, it is not my time. I just had a baby. I remember everything. I need to be there for my baby, I said, getting more and more anxious. It didn't matter that this place brought me peace, joy, and no pain. I wanted to go back for my children. I knew deep down they needed me, and nothing was going to stop me from getting back to them. Why do you wish to go back so badly? The man asked, as if he were puzzled that I didn't want to stay in this paradise. I need to be there for my babies. My babies need me. I have to go back. Please let me go back, I begged. You have all of your loved ones here for you. Are you willing to give all of that up? He asked. I am, I said without hesitation. He smiled as he said that I was the first soul to beg to go back instead of begging to stay. After much thought, he finally said, "Your body is not ready for you to go back. If you go back now, that body will pass away, and you will not be able to return. Walk with me," he said as he put out his hand. I grabbed his hand, and we started to walk together. The love in his touch made me second-guess my decision on wanting to go back. As we walked through the streets of the Crystal City, I began to see my life playing out before my eyes. I have listened to enough NDEs to know that this was a life review, but mine was way different. I didn't see a screen or video playback device. Instead, what I saw is what I will refer to as soul after images. I saw myself being born from the mouth of God. I was breathed into existence. I then saw myself begging God to send me to Earth to be with the parents that I had chosen. I will skip the boring parts, but I saw myself getting married to my husband and our kids being born. I saw my experience on the operating table again, but from a different perspective this time. I don't know if it is the fact that the soul is so pure here, but when the life review ended, I found myself holding on to this man, crying. "It's okay," he said as he held on to me. "This happens to everyone when they re-experience their life from the perspective of my Father." "Of course," I muttered. How could I have not realized that I was there with Jesus? Perhaps it was my preconceived notions that Jesus was this completely different looking being, or perhaps I wasn't as in tune with religion as I thought I was. My Lord, forgive me for not recognizing who you are. Please forgive my ignorance. He assured me that there was no need for me to be begging for forgiveness. He then told me that this is what awaits me when I come back permanently. As he said that, he pointed to what would be the home that his Father had prepared for me. The home was magnificent, beyond anything I could have imagined. It seemed to be made of the same crystal-like material as the city, but it radiated warmth and love. Every detail was perfect, as if it had been crafted specifically for me with infinite care and attention. The more that he showed me, the more that I found it harder and harder to want to go back. I think that Jesus felt my hesitation and was kind as he kept saying that I didn't have to go back. I knew, though, that I did. Before I was sent back, I was shown a future that may or may not come true. Before I tell you what it is, I want people to know that nothing is set in stone, and this was presented to me as one possible timeline. In 2042, there will be a great earthquake that splits not only the western United States, but also most of Asia. Parts of California do get swallowed by the sea, and Japan and Korea are wiped off of the face of the earth. This catastrophic event displaces millions upon millions of people, creating a refugee crisis unlike anything the world has ever seen. This, in turn, leads to a lot of mini-wars, at first that eventually, around 2048, coalesce into a world war. As with all wars, everything is fought over resources: water, food, livable land, and energy. The displaced populations create tensions everywhere they settle, and nations begin to close their borders and fight to protect what they have. The war finally ends in 2053, but not before the three major superpowers, Russia, China, and the United States, come close to an all-out nuclear war. The devastation is immense, but humanity somehow manages to pull back from complete annihilation at the last moment. "It is time for you to return," Jesus spoke to me. "I'm ready," I replied, though part of me was still reluctant to leave this place of perfect peace and love. I awoke to the sound of the doctor saying, "Hit her again." I remember screaming out and then passing out again. I came out of the C-section with 3 broken ribs from the CPR. During recovery, I kept asking the nurses how long I was gone. They all would get this look in their eyes and quickly change the subject. It was as if they didn't want to tell me something, or maybe they were instructed not to discuss it. Eventually, I stopped asking about it because I knew I would never get a straight answer from them, but I could see it in their faces. Whatever happened, whatever they witnessed, it had affected them too. I know that all of this must seem a bit out there, but what I saw and experienced was true. I do not know how long I was gone. I don't know if it was minutes or even seconds, but I do know that I was home, and I decided to come back for my kids. As I said in the opening portion, telling this to my family has gotten me a lot of weird stares, but no one has been mean to me regarding this experience. Some seem to believe it completely, while others appear skeptical, but supportive. My husband has been incredibly understanding, though I can tell he's still processing everything I've shared with him. Oh, and before I forget, yes, my son made it. He has no signs of Down syndrome or any issues from being born almost 2 months too early. The doctors call it a miracle, and honestly, after everything I experienced, I have to agree. Lee, I know that God is healing you, just as He healed my son, and just as He allowed me to come back. God is great all the time, even when we don't ask Him to be. I wanted to share this with you and your audience because I believe these experiences are meant to be shared, to give hope to others who might be going through difficult times. The love I felt in that place, the peace that surpassed all understanding, it's real, and it's waiting for all of us. But I also learned that sometimes our mission here isn't finished, and love can call us back, even from paradise itself. Take care. That does it for this experience. Yes, it is one that was done before. However, due to a request from Jen, I will be removing all of the videos that she narrated for the channel. In either case, I still wish her the best. Anyway, until next time, stay safe and continue to be blessed.